Hi there. Before Chris starts the show, I have a quick one. I am here to draw your attention to some amazing videos, available right here on this channel. Videos that will not only entertain you but give you a much deeper understanding of Kenyan politics. And some videos about life hacks too. Admittedly, it has always been difficult to find the videos you are looking for, and to sort them from the over 2,427 videos on this channel. It is like looking for gold in a river, don't you think? The great news is that from today we have made it much easier for you. In the description area below you will find 10 great videos of this channel from the past. Every time Chris produces a new video we will have a different selection of 10 new gold nuggets for you. I am sure they will be of great interest and you will enjoy them. Please don't forget to check out the description area below immediately you finish watching this video. Only what can stand the test of time. That's what Chris has always tried, very hard, to do here. And now, over to you, Chris.
There's been so much drama over the last week or so, centered on Kenya's most secure prison, the Kamiti maximum security prison, and the dramatic and very perplexing escape of 3 convicted terror suspects. Social media has been flooded with so many theories as to what really went down. So, let's try and go through all of it, and try and separate the facts from the fiction and theories that are not based on any facts. And let us start with the actual escape. Now, let us be very clear on one fact. Kamiti is not a low security prison. It's not a medium security prison. It is a high security prison. Over the decades, it has housed some of the most famous convicts in the country. For instance, on the ground somewhere, is the unmarked grave of freedom fighter, hero and patriot, Dedan Kimathi. In a grave that has never been found. There was an attempt in 2003 to find it, which was unsuccessful. And in its long history, nobody has ever escaped, which is easy to understand and appreciate, if you've ever visited it, or taken a look at it. Because to escape, somebody would need to climb or go through 2 imposing walls, not 1, 2. We also have guards patrolling the entire perimeter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There are CCTV cameras. There are strategic watchtower points, with armed guards. And so, it remains a deep, puzzling mystery how 3 convicts got away from this place, escaped, and got as far as Kitui County, hundreds of kilometers away, How did it happen? Now, all security experts, without exception, all people who understand Kamiti maximum security prison, all of them agree on one thing. There is no way this would have been pulled off without a lot of help from the inside job. But hold on a minute. Even that cannot be explained. There's another mystery there. Because nobody would risk their career. Nobody would risk their job as a prison warden or working at the prison doing something that they know they will ultimately be held responsible for. Yeah, they will have to answer, they will have to face consequences. Nobody in their right mind would do that. And even worse, do it and then sit tight and wait for the consequences. That doesn't make sense. Indeed, if we had heard that there were a few wardens who had vanished, disappeared, nobody knew where they were, then maybe it would have just made a little sense. Maybe. But we have not been told that happened. No. And it gets even more puzzling. According to the information we received from the prison, the convicts, made a hole in a wall inside the prison, which they used to get out. But one of the convicts who has been recaptured insists that it didn't happen like that. He says they walked through the gate. They didn't even climb over the walls. They just walked through the gate. Yeah. And he adds that this was accomplished using bribes. Some wardens were bribed, given huge sums of money to make it all happen. Now, if for a moment you think that the mysteries and the puzzles here and there, you're very wrong. Now, something else security experts agree with, totally, all of them, is that this was an inside job done with the help of wardens inside Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, but also with help from outside, which means that there were some people on the inside and there were some people on the outside. For instance, if you're talking about bribes, the huge sums of money were supplied from outside the prison. The money must have come from outside the prison. And therefore, those people on the outside, after pulling off such an operation as this one, unprecedented, would have been in a very good position to smoothen things after the convicts were through the gates and ensure their safe passage to safety to wherever they were escaping to. But it is clear that once the convicts had escaped, they were more or less on their own, with the only form of communication, a smartphone, they were using to communicate with those people who helped them, far away. Now that doesn't make sense, because the whole thing was very well planned, on the inside, to get the convicts out. So how come once they were outside, the plan was not good? Doesn't make sense. It is almost as if, those on the outside wanted the three to get caught. Because when the three were caught up with, they were thirsty and hungry. They had run out of supplies. Their phone, the smartphone they were using to communicate with those who were helping them, also ran out of charge. Very basic things. Because surely somebody with a skill set, somebody able to plan the escape from the most secure prison in Kenya, would surely have been able to plan something easier. The basics and the safe passage, that would have been much easier to plan and execute. So what went wrong? These are very difficult questions to answer. This whole thing is a very deep mystery. No wonder there's been so much speculation, so many theories, with most Kenyans insinuating that the whole thing was a setup. It was a show by the government. The truth is, that is one of the theories that makes sense, that can explain all these strange things that happened very neatly. But what would have been the objective? What would the government have gained, from doing something like this? Especially when we realize that no government wants to look bad. Nobody wants to be fooled in this way, by 3 convicts getting away from your most secure facility in the entire country, maybe even in the entire region. To start with, it could cause problems in the future. It could give other convicts ideas, inspiration, to cause a similar crisis in the future. And I believe this is what the visit by Interior CS Fred Matiang'i to Kamiti prison to personally oversee the convicts being welcomed back and put back into holding. It was a show of might and strength, to show others that the government is in control, and that escaping can never work. Bottom line, the most plausible theory still does not make sense. Indeed, to many, it defies logic. To many who understand our security system in the country and the way the government works, it defies logic. So let's back up a little, and try to see if we can get some key clues that will point us in the right direction. And the first clue comes from the fact that all 3 convicts had a similarity. They all had something to do with terror. They all had something to do with terrorism, which we all know is international. It is not a local thing. So we are talking about international resources, international skills and skill sets. Now, this would start to explain the gap in the planning and execution of the escape once the convicts were outside the prison, and headed somewhere, possibly for a rendezvous to be picked up, and to make a clean escape. Because you would understand, a foreigner not being very familiar with the situation on the ground, the terrain, that the convicts would have to use to get to the rendezvous. It is highly possible that somebody would make assumptions that would be fatally flawed, wrong, not taking into account things which are local, somebody familiar with the terrain would be aware of. Possibly somebody looking at a map, somebody based out of the country, looking at a map and making a lot of assumptions, that turn out to be wrong. So that those escaping end up in a situation where they've run out of supplies, they are hungry and they're thirsty. And when you're hungry and thirsty, your thinking capabilities are dramatically affected. Your ability to make quick, crucial decisions is greatly hampered. Now, again, this does not rule out the possibility that those who planned and executed this thing, if they're outside the country, would still want the convicts to get caught. And one possible motive for that would be carrying out such an operation to prove a point, to send a message. about their capabilities. Yeah. You know, this reminds me very much of a report I did on my Kumekucha blog some years back about a very curious, puzzling incident involving Moses Wetangula. And I also have a video on this channel discussing the same incident. You should find a link in the description area below. When we're through here, you can check it out. The long and short of it is that somebody made a very good plan. Yeah. Got a possible assassin at a vantage point, perfect point. Yeah. Near the lights where a vehicle would naturally slow down. And this assassin had an automatic weapon. Very intricate, very professional up to that point. And then the gunman ended up on the scene displaying exceptional talents in missing his target with an automatic weapon. In other words, if that man or woman had stopped a passerby, bribed them, convinced them, then told them what to do, somebody who had never handled a firearm before, they would not have missed. Using such a weapon, it would take exceptional skills not to injure anybody. Yeah, you get my drift. And the conclusion here was clear. Yeah, that was not an assassination attempt. No, it was a message telling the target what they were capable of doing and what they can do. This whole Kamiti saga reminds me of that instance. Yeah, there's so many similarities. And of course now the burning question would be, what was the message? Yeah, what was the motive? What were they trying to tell the government? Now, of course, the next question, a very burning question, would be why? Why did they decide to send a message in such a dramatic manner? And what is it that they really want? Because they are obviously proving a point so as to push a certain decision. But we don't know what it is. With the information we have so far, it is very difficult to even try and guess what it is and what is really going on here. You know, I believe the most telling evidence that the government were caught flat-footed and that they were not involved in any way was the way the convicts were finally captured. They were recaptured by villagers, police reservists, but villagers on the ground. People who don't even have the training. People who, if they were faced by convicts who are well fed, strong, and armed, would never have managed to recapture them. Folks, this remains a deep mystery. But I hope my show today has shed light on a few areas, clarified many things. However, maybe we can get a clue as to what may really be happening here by looking outside beyond this incident and linking it to other terror activities worldwide. For example, the attack that happened in neighboring Uganda, very recently. Indeed, at about the same time that this escape happened. Now, we're going to do that in the next video. I've put a link in the description area below. Just go there, click on that link, and you'll be on to the next video. The same link is repeated on the top right-hand corner of your screens. You should see a picture link to that particular video. Click on it and let's meet there. This is Chris Kumekucha.